From the Detroit Free Press, in the heart of the Motor City, it's Monday, August 31st. Here are today's top stories, presented by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Calling all foodies, Bush's is hiring. Are you passionate about food, looking for growth, development, and excellent wages? Come grow with Bush's and apply online at bushes.com/join-our-team. That's Bush's, BUSCHS.com/join-our-team.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Kerry Jr. II. The state of Michigan reports 539 new cases of the coronavirus and 6 new deaths. In total, there are over 102,000 COVID-19 cases and over 6,400 deaths statewide. 6 new cases are tied to a Birmingham restaurant. Employees of the Asian-inspired eatery Adachi filed complaints with the Michigan Occupational Safety and Health Administration and the National Labor Relations Board. The first employee confirmed to have the virus was reported in early August. The restaurant closed to address safety concerns and sanitize the location. David Krause is the general manager and director of operations. He believes the COVID-19 cases came from an employee who disregarded CDC guidelines outside of the workplace. But shortly after reopening, videos were shot of a crowded restaurant and customers without masks. Krause said the crowd was a mistake and a result of weather conditions and limited outdoor seating. He says the restaurant adjusted seating moving forward. Krause shared with the Free Press that both complaints filed against them have been closed and no citations were issued. Last week, the U.S. Center of Disease Control and Prevention announced new testing protocols. The CDC announced that people who are exposed to a person confirmed or probable to have COVID-19 but are asymptomatic do not need to be tested. The CDC director has since walked back those guidelines. Director Dr. Robert Redfield said those exposed could be tested. Henry Ford Health System, Michigan Medicine, Beaumont Health, and Sparrow Health System said they will not change testing protocols in response to the changing advice. Grand Blanc-based McLaren Healthcare said it pulled back on testing asymptomatic people before the CDC changed its guidelines. The health system said that decision was made due to limited testing supplies. Michigan's public health guidelines suggest asymptomatic people should be tested for COVID-19. Some instances where testing would be appropriate include people living or working in high-risk settings like nursing homes, jails, prisons, or homeless shelters, people who are asked by a local health department or clinician to be tested, and people who work outside the home. That's the latest. For more information on COVID-19 in Michigan, visit www.freep.com.
Hi, Liz. Wow, it's Liz.
Liz, oh my God, I forgot what she looked like.
We've seen so much less of those we love this year, but Marge Pesca found a way around that. The East Lansing resident has been enjoying ukulele strums with her friends via Zoom. They're full of laughter and music, and for a short while, blissful relief from the day-to-day of a pandemic.
It helps me think of things other than the obvious of being in lockdown, in a high-risk group that doesn't go out easily outside without a lot of protection. It takes away the worry for a while. So time flies when I play the ukulele. I forget about the rest of the world. And it's just a good escape.
Hear the full story on the Detroit Free Press's podcast. It's called We Lived It, and it's available on Apple, Spotify, or your Google or Alexa device.
This is Evan Petzold of the Free Press Sports Department. The entire outlook of the Detroit Tigers season has changed in just a few days, as they find themselves in the middle of an unforeseen development, winning 5 consecutive games in 6 of their last 7. The 16-6 Tigers started the season 9-5, but dropped off the AL Central map with a 9-game losing streak. Still, they regrouped the team meeting in Chicago on August 19th and returned to their winning ways displayed earlier in the shortened 60-game season. And just like that, Detroit is in the hunt with 28 games remaining, trailing the Toronto Blue Jays for the AL's final playoff spot by 2 games. And that makes Monday's trade deadline even tougher to gauge, as general manager Al Avila won't consider his squad buyers or sellers because of the uncertain market. Now, while the Tigers won't trade away any top prospects, the organization needs to honestly answer one question: can we make the playoffs? If not, they could be more willing to trade away players on one-year contracts, namely second baseman Jonathan Scope, catcher Austin Romine, outfielder Cameron Maben, and right-handed pitcher Ivan Nova. But if Avila thinks the Tigers can make the postseason, he might be more inclined to stay put. While the Tigers could seek a trade, there are substantial complications. The biggest one is that teams that might otherwise be sellers are still in contention, thanks to the expanded 16-team playoffs. That has chilled the market, leaving the general price of short-term upgrades in flux. And all of that leaves the Tigers in wait-and-see mode as Monday's 4 p.m. trade deadline approaches.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you're a fan and want to support our quality local journalism, subscribe. Go to freep.com/special offer.